Hello there, welcome back to Dukascopy TV. I'm Elaine Stenson and I'm joined in the studio now by Franck Berlamont, who's CEO with Geneva Partners, an independent asset management company here in Geneva. He's here with me now to discuss financial activism. Franck, you're very welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
So what's the latest activity in financial activism?
Well, the latest is that it's something that's really growing and that's quite big. If you look at the activity that's been going on last year, about 400 companies in the US alone have been targeted by activist investors. That number is actually 20% above what happened in 2012. So we're talking about something quite large and growing. One of the changes is the fact that companies that are being targeted are now bigger and healthier than in the past. There are two interesting examples. One is Apple computers, and the other one is Microsoft. If you look at Apple, it's been the target of two activist campaigns over the last 18 months. The idea broadly is basically to get Apple to distribute some of the large cash it has on the balance sheet. Currently, Apple has about $100 billion of cash on its balance sheet. So the idea is to get that cash to go back to shareholders. On the Microsoft side, Microsoft has been targeted by Value Act, an activist fund based in California. And without any fight, really what happened very quickly is that Microsoft accepted that a member of Value Act get on the board of Microsoft. And we all know that Microsoft is now looking for a new CEO. Yes. So that's basically some interesting stories. And
are the boards more willing to listen now than they were before the financial crisis in 2008?
Absolutely. There's been a big shift. If you look at the mentality that prevailed at the time, basically the first reaction of any activist campaign for the board was to criticize the activist. This is not happening anymore. The put up the fence idea has disappeared. What they're saying is that they're willing to listen. Of course, it's not always the case, but broadly you could say that they're willing to listen. They say, you know, we'll have a discussion. We may not agree on everything, but at least we'll listen to you. This is also pushed by the very large institutional shareholder base that want companies to listen to the ideas coming from outside. So clearly that's a big change. If you look at what's been going on in Japan, for instance, which is a country where activism had a lot of difficulty to actually push their ideas, the latest is coming from Dan Lubb, who targeted Sony for some changes. And Sony listened. You can actually see some of the decisions made by Sony were actually suggested by Dan Lubb. And Dan Lubb himself said that the reaction of Sony's CEO was very good.
And how can we track the activity of activists and investors?
Well, there are basically two ways. One is clearly to follow what's going on in the press. If you take your favorite newspaper, financial newspaper, you'll see every day 2 or 3 stories on activism. So there's a lot already there. If you want to have a full view, then you can go to the filings. There are basically 2 ways investors in the US have to file. One is on a quarterly basis. They get the full view of their entire portfolio, so you can get that. Or you can get, when they cross a threshold, they also find what's called a 13D. If they go above 5%, 6%, everything, and then you get an idea of what's going on because they have to file. So that's how you get that.
Okay, and just one final question. What are you expecting over the next year in financial activism?
Continued growth. Clearly, there are some good reasons for growth to continue. One of them is, as I said, a lot of cash on the balance sheet of some of the companies. The other reason is that private equity investors have a lot of cash to put to work, and that also is going to create opportunities for M&A transactions, all sorts of interesting things that activists and investors are going to pursue.
Okay. Franck Berlamont from Geneva Partners, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.
And that's all we have time for now, but do check back later for further updates and for further interviews from the Dukascopy TV team. Bye for now.